Hey guys, Taro here bringing you a 2v2 today. We are on Minsk Pocket. Playing for you today, spawning in the north is zeroEJ. Sorry. Playing as US forces, and his loadout is infantry, airborne and rifle company. Teaming up with him will be agentSmithCZ. Playing as Soviet Union, and his loadout is guard motor, Soviet combined arms and mechanized support. So quite a few guards commanders. Definitely going to be seeing some guards from him. Playing in the south as Axis is WuFF, who I just cast a while back for the OCF reward cast. And teaming up with him is Fortune, playing as Austere, mechanized assault, Jaeger armor, Festung support. And I forgot to do WuFF, so breakthrough, spec ops, and elite armor. Right, Minsk Pocket. So generally we'll see assault guns on this map. ISU, elephant, but I don't. Oh yeah, Fortune does have the elephant doctrine, so quite a long map as well. If you build a howitzer in your base, you won't quite be able to reach the opponent's base until they vet up. I believe it's vet 2, they gain the extra range, and we'll be able to reach the base. So that's something to keep in mind. I've been away from the cast for a while, just taking a break after running my tournament. Didn't really do too well, but it's another story for another day. Straight into the action here. Stern Pioneer's in a bit of trouble from just rear echelons. Rear echelons coming in from the side, putting some pressure onto the Kubel, forcing it to retreat. Here comes Fortune's troops though, and they're going to chase away these rear echelons without too much trouble. Still, the Allies off to a good start. Looks like they're going to put pressure on both munitions points. A lot of conscripts here for Agent Smith, and they're now getting suppressed. Somehow he's shooting through that hill and suppressing that squad. I don't know how, but you know, it's all good. Kubel turns tail though, because some riflemen coming from the flank. Main gun destroyed. It's got caught on the pathing there, running around that sandbag. May go down to these rifles. Oh, and it does. There's pretty much a max range there. It was on that road, so you saw it go quite quickly, but an early blow to WuFF's forces, losing that Kubel, and that's going to set the Axis back a bit. We don't see any MGs from Fortune so far, so that's why they're having such a lot of trouble for map control and why they've lost their fuel now. Need some more machine guns to suppress the hordes of Axis or Allied troops. So we're seeing 4 cons and 2 combat. Two combat engineers from Agent Smith, and we're seeing 4 rear echelons and 2 rifles from zeroEJ. So a more rear echelon heavy strategy, which seems to be a lot more popular these days. Generally equipping them with bars or M1919s. Try and keep your manpower costs down, and once they vet up, that should become quite powerful. Stern Pioneers taking heaps of damage on approach here, getting super low to these rifles. They'll be lucky to escape that. Nope. Machine gun suppresses that squad just in the nick of time, and Stern Pioneers do get away. Rifles coming around from the flank, getting behind enemy lines, and out of the arc of fire of the MG. MG repositions though, forces those rifles away, and these troops should also maybe get suppressed. Yep, oh, just as they're about to clear the arc, they took an MG burst there, got suppressed. Now that'll give the MG enough time to reposition, and where did those conscripts come from? Looks like they got shut down going down this lane. Forced retreat, so that's pretty much a mass retreat on all fronts from the Allies, except for this one. So this should give the Axis a bit of time to breathe, try to regather some territory, maybe get hold of one of these munitions points finally. Been very far behind in munitions up to this point of the game. Strong start for the Allies. I think Agent Smith... Oh no, he's actually going for a Maxim. He should probably be putting down his tech structure right now. And trying to get out a light vehicle. So he's going for a Maxim. I think that's a mistake. He needs to capitalize on that strong early game and large fuel advantage by rushing out an early vehicle. And as we can see, that Fortune is bringing out a scout car. So because Agent Smith hasn't gone for any light vehicles, scout car is actually going to be quite effective. He had just rushed his quad. That scout car, well, no, in fact, Fortune's cancelled that scout car and now is going for the pack. Much safer option. Scout car, I feel like the 222 is only really viable against USF and 1v1s. It's quite good at countering the M20. Other than that, it's a bit too weak to deal with the quad in its current form. Engagements going on a few different fronts. Looks like the Allies are going to push forward once more with some support fire from this pack outer. Oh, there's a mine and a demo charge down there. That's a nasty surprise. That's what you call a tank killer. Definitely doesn't want to get that swept. Pioneers are down here actually, so that's... Oh! Big boom there. Maybe a slight waste of the 30 munitions, but down goes that Falk squad. Allies will not be deterred. They keep running straight down the centre. They're trying to put some pressure on this fuel. Looks like zeroEJ is going to lose his squad, maybe. No. Another close escape. Maxim supplying some pressure, forcing the Axis back into their base once more. What do we see? Nothing from WuFF yet. It's got quite a bit of fuel in the bank. Doesn't have much manpower though. Has gone for some Fusiliers, so that is breakthrough. Hackouts is actually doing a lot of work here, putting suppression on all these squads. Hasn't got many kills, but doing a lot of damage and a lot of suppressing. Here comes the Stewart, chasing away this MG on the flank. And the Allies are really just in a commanding position right now. So much early infantry, and the Axis just cannot keep control. I think losing that Kubel early has really cost them a lot of map control. And down goes the MG42, in fact. Stewart finished the job there, and Axis are just pinned in their base pretty much. Perhaps requiring a rethink of what their next move will be. I suppose WuFF could probably go for a Stuka quite soon, and he may indeed do that. Try and counter these infantry, well, this just like massive infantry, and a few support weapons as well. In fact, there's actually quite a lot of support weapons coming out from Agent Smith. It's just got a lot of fuel. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for any vehicles. So he's pretty much playing into the hands of the Axis if they do go for the Stuka, and indeed that is what we see from WuFF. So it's going to be very effective against all of Agent Smith's team weapons and infantry, and of course zeroEJ's infantry as well. Pack here rotating, trying to keep these troops safe from the Stewart. And wow, we're seeing a second pack house. So this Stuka is probably going to be make or break for the Axis, and it may in fact be make, because this has got so many juicy targets to fire upon, especially if he gets a infrared searchlight Try and scout all those team weapons out. That could be a very, very nasty Stuka. It's exactly what the Axis needs to try and regather some map control. Axis feeling the heat down. About 120 victory points already. We're only 10 minutes into the game. Here comes the first Stuka barrage though. Oh, clears 2 team weapons there. Gets them both down to half health as well, so they'll die with one more barrage. There's a lot of damage to this, and also a lot of damage to this. So, opening barrage, a very successful one. 16 kills already for that Stuka. Wow. That is the stuff of dreams. Axis doing a pretty good job mitigating the victory point bleed. Trying to just keep hold of a victory point at all times. Mainly this one here on the right. Making sure the game doesn't get out of their control. Looks like a demo charge went off there. Oh, and a bar gets dropped. I wonder who's going to pick that up. Oh! Packard's shot almost kills that squad. Stuart's controller's got damaged engine. All these team weapons extremely low. Unsupported as well. Miracle shot from the pack howitzer. Suppresses both of those squads. Stuart needs to keep backing up. Pack is advancing. Pack's actually destroying all these team weapons. Excuse me, I'm surprised that the Axis aren't trying to recrew them. But no. They're playing it safe, just destroying them instead. Where's he going up in the base? Stuka must be pretty close to being reloaded. Indeed it is. So, the heavy team weapon play from the Allies is starting to become a problem now that the Stuka's on the field. Agent Smith still floating a large amount of fuel. Has put down its tech structure though, so... Oh, it has gone for a late quad. So it's not too bad. It will allow reinforcing all of these team weapons on the front lines, but... Oh, is he about to get nuked by the Stuka? Well, down goes that pack howitzer. Oh, a nasty rifle grenade there. Clears out our rear echelon squad, I believe there was. Quad and Stuart now moving to the left flank. There is a AT gun here moving under camo though, so it's quite slow to rotate. Quad suppressing. Stuart getting up close and personal. Here comes a Stuk E in fact. From Fortune, so that means mechanized assault. Oh, and I think this quad's gonna go down here. Yep, Stuggy finishes the job on the quad. With a bit of support there from the Raketenwerfer. So things are looking up for the Axis. So we look at army size, we can see that they've pretty much leveled the playing field. And they're starting to regather some map control now. In fact, yeah, I think the Axis is starting to pull ahead in terms of army size right now. So, shell shot from the Stuart at long range briefly stuns the Stuk E, but doesn't allow these bazooka squads to get up in range. Yeah, now what is that coming up from? It is a Sherman coming up from zeroEJ. Struggy looks like it wants to try and knock out some of these team weapons here. 2 pack houses here on the ground. Just waiting for some crew members. Oh, Agent Smith tries to recruit, but he's under Struggy fire. Luckily, those 2 shots are somewhat off target. Oh, but that shot almost wipes that rival squad in one shell. Oh, and the follow-up shot was good too. That thing was super lucky to escape there. Wow, bar on sternpioneers, that'll make them super nasty. Squad by half-track on the flanks now as well. Interesting to see. Here comes Stuka shot. Raj. Oh my god. Not too bad actually. Honestly, that could have gone a lot worse. Didn't even wipe that MG. That was the Strigi finishing the job, but now these two indirect fire weapons are under fire from the Strigi and LMG Grenadiers. This is in position, not on prioritized vehicles, so it's actually given away its position to those Grenadiers. Needs to pop that on prioritized vehicles to avoid giving away its presence. Here comes the Sherman on strain to a pack. Maybe he's going to use target weak point. No, he's already used target weak point. Armor piercing rounds on the Sherman, so they're penetrating that Strigi quite easily. Maybe AT grenade here from WuFF. Maybe not. He's getting caught on the wreckage. No pot smoke. Trying to escape. Pack's going to use attack round. Misses. And the Sherman will get away. Nicely done there from zeroEJ, covering his retreat path quite effectively. Action on the flanks. Stewart still marauding, and will be quite effective if he gets a squad by half track. Where is that? Okay, that's just sitting back here. Panzer Grenadiers have decrewed that now. Maxim gets cleared by some Panzer Fusiliers. So, taking stock of where we are at right now, Axis down to 230 VPs. Have managed to hold on to their fuel for the last few minutes. Stuka's bleeding the hell out of their allied team weapons. And most of them actually getting destroyed now by the Strigi and Pack. In fact, that's a fresh Strigi. As for the allies, looks like Agent Smith is actually going to go for a Katyusha. So all he made from this tech structure was a quad, and that died quite quickly. I mean, I suppose Katyusha's not a terrible idea, but Axis aren't concentrating your units quite as heavily as the allies are at this stage, so it may find it hard to get a good barrage off. Wow, that Strigi is just wrecking even the captain with his bazookas. So we see a few re-echelon squads with bars now. Well, just two actually, but a few of them have been wiped. Still, they're doing their job, holding their own in combat. Now, quite a few stars of veterancy on them as well. Giving them the extra squad member, increasing their durability, which is always nice. The Stewart has been doing a really good job harassing this right-hand flank pretty much the entire game. Axis perhaps need to send some more anti-tank up there to deal with that. Here come two Shermans straight down the middle, applying pressure to this pack. There's a Raketenwerfer here as well, and the Strigi, but this doesn't have target weak point. Have a hard time penetrating the frontal armor. But here comes Shrek squad. Oh, one Sherman goes down, the other one takes damaged engine, and that's going to go down as well. So both of those Shermans go down in a very reckless maneuver from zeroEJ. No scouting, no support for those Shermans, and he just ran straight into the belly of the beast. So many anti-tank guns here, along with some Shrek squads, and down goes both of those Shermans. Now the allies are in a bit of strife. See, the Axis is firmly ahead in terms of army size right now, poised to make a huge comeback. Stuka has cooled down, ready for another barrage. Looks like he's moving it over to this side for a barrage. Stewart About to take some pack fire. Uh-oh. Striggy. Oh no, pack shot misses. I was going to say if the Striggy rotated me, he'd actually be able to finish that Stewart off. But that pack shell missed. The Striggy was actually working on the infantry instead. So the Allies, despite losing so many squads, actually doing pretty good in terms of map control right now. Axis have quite a lot invested into AT guns, and I think that's why they're having a bit of trouble pushing out. Though that was very helpful in dealing with those two Shermans. We see that zeroEJ has now selected Doctrine, going for airborne. And we see munitions cache, so that's going to help in the P-47 spam. Generally, if you go airborne though, you want to save up a bit more munitions than this. You want to have about 400 munitions at this point in the game, but that's alright. So you can do 2 barrages in quite quick succession, and then hopefully map control and just pressure that puts on the Axis will be a platform for you to win. Instead, he spent quite a lot of munitions on bazookas and bars. Got some Pathfinders now. They will be helpful in providing sight to the Allies. Axis look like they're poised to make a push down the centre. What is WuFF spend his fuel on? Nothing yet. Katyusha barrage on the mortar. Only gets 1 man. It's actually pretty close to the front lines as well, just a bit unlucky with the scatter there. Katyusha not quite as devastating as the walking Stuka. Whoa, that squad's lucky to escape. Running over that mine on the retreat. Here comes the Stuka, speaking of that deadly machine. It's barrage off target though, luckily for the Allies. Captain over here. No, it does have 2 bazookas in fact, so putting some good pressure on the Striggy. Nope, bazooka's hitting the trees and Striggy returning fire, wiping pretty much half that squad. Oh, luckily he missed that shot. Wow, Raken with a shell. It's quite a lot of damage. Here comes the P-47s, very close to the Axis base. Where's the ending of... where's the circle end of that? Oh, just there. So I think that's going to be the only pass for the P-47s that's actually going to hit any vehicles. Perhaps slightly too early on that. Would have been better if you could do it slightly deeper into the Axis territory, so that there could be some subsequent passes hitting the Axis vehicles. As it is, they managed to escape to safety quite easily. Uh-oh! Walking Stuka's about to move back into the area of effect here. Oh, I just want to see what... here it comes. Luckily, I mean, that did very little damage. The Walking Stuka does have quite a lot of health and armor, especially compared to, say, a Katyusha. Quite durable. Only adds to their power. And I think that's just the last... is that a recon pass or something? I'm not sure what. P-47's... I mean, I don't see the area of effect circle anymore. Not sure what's going on there.
Listen up! Listen up! Incoming rocket grenade! Pay attention this way.
It'll eventually be shot down. I don't know. Maybe that ability just bugged out there. Eventually got shot down by the Shrew HQ though. Back into the action, forgetting about that P-47 strike. Allies once again making a push straight down the centre, trying to put some pressure on the Axis fuel, which is good because They are getting quite close to being able to call in a Tiger now, and that could turn the tide into the Axis favour. Shuggy getting slightly out of position, blasted upon by Zis, and now a Jackson. But I think Agent Smith was more focused on getting off his P-47 strike. Down goes the Shuggy. Stuka's still in the area of effect as well. He's trying to back that away to safety now. Here comes the Tiger for Fortune. Could this be the mechanism for the Axis to get back in this game? They're down to only 92 victory points. But as you can see there, they're pretty even in terms of army size, both squads. At the same time though, here comes the ISU 152, so we're going to see some of the big boys duking it out. 152's very strong on this map, pretty much because a lot of action happens down this rather narrow central channel on this map. Quite hard to flank it. Very good for the assault guns. Jackson gets the first shell off on the Tiger. ISU also joining in on the fun. Here comes a T-34-76 from the side, but looks like this... Whoa, that Shrek squad almost gets wiped in one shell from the T-34-76. It's a very rare sight. Oh, 152 doing its dirtiest. Close range Zis barrage. Oh, down goes that Zis. No match for the 152mm shell. Oh, man, this thing is so powerful. Very satisfying explosive noise as well when it lands. I heartily approve. Stuka maybe trying to aim at these rear echelons, but slightly off target, just lands on these vehicles, doing minor damage. Cheshire barraging from very far away, but the scatter could work out in their favour here, as these team whips try to reposition rather than retreat. And yes, in fact, down goes that Raketenwerfer. So the long range Katyusha barrage actually worked out in their favour this time. It hasn't done much though. That's one of its best barrages, only 9 kills. I believe we've seen about 4 barrages from it so far, so that's by far its best one to date. Oh no, more targets cleared there for the Axis. Now pack's under fire from these rear echelons, trying to get that to safety. Doesn't want to lose his pack, especially with Vet 1. Need to have that target weak point. Got 2 Jacksons now, so that should be enough to handle this Tiger. Stewart's still on the field, up to 37 kills. This thing's been excellent. Nice micro from zeroEJ. Tiger under Jackson fire, down to half health now. T-34-76 coming in from the flank, but there's a Shrek squad here and a pack. Ram attempted by the T-34-76, but it ran out of gas there. And, it's now going to be taken down. Here comes the ISU 152 straight down the centre, very, very, very far out of position. Target weak point from the pack. It's stunned now, but slightly out of range. No, here comes the second pack from the side. Also activating target weak point. That's a dead 152, way out of position. Agent Smith maybe trying to do too much there. Caught napping on his most valuable unit, and down it goes, the 152. Luckily he has just about enough fuel for another one, only 40 fuel to go. Still, that's a big blow for the Allies, losing that 152. And oh no! No! The Hero Stewart goes down. I think they had about 38 kills. That was very, very strong. And great shame that it ends up biting the dust. We see that Agent Smith is quite keen on doing this mine and demo charge arrangement. I suppose it does lower your micro requirements. You don't have to worry about activating the demo charges. You just leave that to the mine, but it is a very munitions intensive way of doing things. So it looks like WuFF may be actually saving for a Jagdtiger at this stage. Hasn't put down his battle group headquarters, so don't think he's going for the King Tiger. Looks like he will be going for a Jagdtiger, which will be very good on this map, of course. Probably the best assault gun in the game. Very expensive though, especially with the OKW resource tax. And it's quite vulnerable to getting stunned. So you have to be quite careful. So here comes fresh 152 for agentSmithCZ. Hopefully he's a bit more careful with this one. Oh, that's another P47 strike coming in on this Tiger. And maybe this Stugi as well. And down goes the Stugi. Tiger's trying to back to safety. May fall victim to another strafe. It's very deep. You can see the edge of the radius there. Manages to back to safety. Only takes a minor scratch from that pass. Oh, what? Down there. Jackson went down there. Now, I imagine it's one of those Rickenn workers, but I'm not sure. Oh, and 152's in a lot of trouble as well, taking a few shells from that Shrek squad. Mortar up to 12 kills. That is one. He's had most of the game. 12 kills for Vet 3. That's alright, I suppose. A lot of team weapons lying about here on the battlefield. Could easily be recruited. Wow, there's another one of those nasty traps. I think what the Allies need to do is coordinate Mark vehicle with the P47s. That would be a good thing to do. Try and boost the damage of them. That's a cheeky rifle grenade up the hill on that well-positioned mortar there. Actually, that's a really nice mortar position. It's been raining down here on the center of the battlefield, but Axis are finally wise to it and do clear it. As you can see, you require 2 crew members on every mortar, except for the heavy mortar. So if it gets down to only one man, he will just abandon ship, as you see him running off the map there. So Katyusha raining down here on the Stugi, doing quite a lot of damage to it in fact too. Bazooka squad putting pressure on the mortar. Here comes a Stuka barrage. Whoa, annihilates that squad of Pathfinders, I believe it was. So that's 290 manpower down the drain for the Allies, and the Allies are really having trouble bleeding the Axis off. This last 28 VPs, they can't get control of the centre. Having a lot of trouble just microing their stuff at the moment, it seems. Here they come for another attempt with this Pathfinder squad. Tiger is going to have something else to say about that, and here comes the Jagdtiger in fact. So that 152 is going to be severely outgunned. I believe the ISU 152 goes down in 3 shots to the Jagdtiger. Maybe it's 4. feels like it's 3. Oh, Shrek squad actually from the flank. Oh, and the Yag Tiger finishes the job. Down goes the 152. And in comes the Tiger. He smells blood. He's going deep. He's trying to wipe these squads on retreat. And there's nothing to stop him right now for the Allies. Both the Jacksons are dead. 152 is dead. They don't have any AT guns, I don't think. No, just a few squads of guards and bazookas are the only forms of anti-tank right now. So a few careless plays from the Allies, and just like that, the Axis are back in this game with a formidable armor force. Oh no, that was where the Jackson was decrewed, receiving repairs. Good. I didn't think I saw that go down. That's good. I didn't miss that action. So it looks like the Allies are thinking laterally now, which is a good plan. Can't really go head on into the Yag Tiger. Now moving to the right hand flank, try and put some pressure on this victory point instead. Axis perhaps also thinking about that, sending a few squads, a bit of armor over that way to try and deal with that. Whoa, what was that? Sturgi, bazookas and Jacksons proven too much for its very weak armor. Jackson's under a bit of AT gunfire here, taking a long time to turn around. Maybe having a few pathing issues. Actually in a bit of trouble here. So this is approaching, and this squad could immobilize it with the AT grenade. Action going on in the center. Looks like Allies are trying to split the Axis concentration, and now they're making a push down the center. There's an MG bunker here. And oh no, that's not an MG bunker, that's a command bunker. Stuka barrage quite adeptly dodged there by the Allies. They're applying good pressure here to the center VP. Need to keep these squads out of the arc of fire of this bunker though. Katyusha's raining in on all these squads. P-47's coming down on the Tiger, doing quite a lot of damage to the repairing Pioneer squads. Here come the LMG Grens, and they're going to be more than enough to force away all of zeroEJ's forces, so Allies will hang on. 24 victory points remaining. Oh no, Tiger's going to go down to the P-47s. He decided not to get out of the arc of fire there, and down it goes. Nice flanking play here with this pack as well. I believe that contributed 1 shell. So some ballsy pack play there from zeroEJ, and down goes the Tiger. And Fortune doesn't actually have nearly enough fuel for another Tiger. He's been spending a lot of fuel on these Stuggies. So he's going to go back to the drawing board to try and save up for another Tiger, I imagine. Still, if we look at the map, you can see slowly creeping forwards is the red line. Now they've got control over both munitions points. Allies are slowly losing ground. Need to keep control of those munitions points if they want to keep bringing in the P-47s. Which will be integral to their strategy. If they want to, or if they have a chance of winning, they'll need to use some good P-47 strikes to try and soften up the Axis armor. Otherwise, probably going to be in a lot of trouble. So Jackson moving down the flank. It would be good if he just tries to avoid this capping circle and try to go around the side of it so as to not give this maneuver away. But that's not what he's going to do. Could use his Jackson here to try and crush this garrison, in fact. Finish the job that way. But here comes all of zeroEJ's forces making a play for this right-hand VP, southern VP on Minsk Pocket. Looks like the Axis are going to rotate some troops. And maybe Agent Smith is preparing a strike on the center. There's a few squads here. Looks like he's firing that at the command bunker, not a bad target. Here comes Stuka barrage though. What is that? back here. Off target once more. Perhaps needs to use a grenade. Does he have grenades? No, he doesn't have grenades. MG is very close to death though. Struggy is on the side here, and there's a talon mine here as well, so Jackson's got to be careful. So the VP does get neutralized, but here comes the Axis forces moving to the right. Jackson causing a lot of damage to the Struggy, but Pack returning fire. Struggy's in a lot of trouble now. One more Jackson shot will go down. Struggy is retreating. Here comes this fresh Jackson. But he's not on prioritized vehicles, just firing at infantry at the moment. Allies desperately trying to hold on to this victory point here. Axis down to only 20 VPs. Doesn't have a rifle grenade, he's already used it. Could this be the victory for the Allies? They're desperately trying to hold on here on the right. What is Smith? Agent Smith needs to be applying some pressure to the center right now. And I think that could be the game for the Allies if they do that. No, he's starting to push out, in fact. He's feeling bold, he's feeling frisky. Perhaps slightly overextending here. If he just tried to hold on, maybe he could win. Stick brush off target once more, but doesn't matter. I think the Axis are going to regather control of that victory point. And personally, I blame this on Agent Smith. Should be pushing in from one of these flanks, trying to apply, or try and knock out this bunker with his guards maybe, and then try and cap the center VP. Instead, he's just been capping territory. Needs to think more about going for the win rather than going on autopilot and just gathering territory. Here comes a P4 from WuFF. Good choice to support his enormous Jagd Tiger. Both Jacksons have been repaired. Oh, what is that? It was breakthrough tactics, in fact, used by WuFF. I must have missed that. Looks like the Jacksons are rotating to try and deal with the P4 on the flank, which is a good idea. Needs some infantry support though to try and chase away this Shrek squad. Agent Smith has fielded himself a Su-85 instead of another 152. Interesting choice. So a lot of tank destroyers for the Allies, but they are no match for the Jagd Tiger. Here comes a P-47 strike. Attempted target is this Jagd Tiger. Allies need to be on full retreat. Here comes the P4, trying to put some pressure on them. They're very low on health, all these tank destroyers. There's this here, P4's going deep, wants to get the kill. This plants itself, starts pumping away at the P4. P4's in a lot of trouble from Su-85 fire now. No, Su-85 is non-prioritized vehicles, decides to target a Volk squad instead. Jagd Tiger does take quite a bit of damage from those P-47s, but it looks like they've been shot down now. Imagine Fortune, yeah, he is indeed very close to being able to call out another Tiger, just needs a bit more manpower. And honestly, I don't think Su-85 is a good choice. It's not going to be very good against packs, and it's not going to be any match for the Jagd Tiger. Does that kill it in 2 shots or 3? I'm not certain, but it won't last long. Maybe he'll be better off trying to mass T-34-76s and try to go for a daring flank. We see that the Axis have not mined up their flanks too well. that could be the go-to here. Maybe try to get a ram off and follow that up with the P-47 strike. Going back to the old school, I remember pre-Western Front armies, that was the go-to on the Elephant. You had to try to get a ram off with your T-34 76s, trying to mobilize it. Ram's not quite as popular these days, but I suppose it did get nerfed, but now that the T-34 76 is a bit cheaper, maybe on the table. Looks like Agent Smith is in fact going to save for a 152. So it looks like the Allies are just stalling until that 152 comes out, and then they're going to try another push. But they have had very poor munitions control for the last few minutes, and they don't have enough for another P-47, so I don't think they're going to be successful. The Axis have a very large army and a better army composition to deal with what the Allies are fielding. Oh, nasty rifle grenade there. Forcing that conscript back for some reinforcements. Double Jacksons blasting at Struggy, forcing it to retreat. Jackson's now clearing out this S-mine field. There's just a million S-mines down here. And so that's what they're mining up. They're doing with S-mines instead of towers. And here comes the Tiger. Are there any AT guns around here? Yes, there's a stolen Zis as well. So this could be a nasty trap that these Jacksons run into here on the right hand side. Battle for the right. Looks like he's going to rotate maybe to try and fight this P4 on the other flank instead. 152 makes its presence felt in the centre. There is still this MG bunker here though, so that is going to prevent capping off the centre. Looks like the 152 is trying to knock that out, but is instead blasting away at these trees. It's rather unfortunate feature of Minsk Pocket. There are a lot of trees, which shots can go astray on, and down goes the bunker. But here comes the Tiger running straight for the 152. Tiger on the flank, putting pressure on zeroEJ's forces. In fact, they're going to have to retreat. Here come the Jacksons though, chasing after the P4. He activates Blitz, trying to get to safety. Su-85 trying to fire up the hill. Jackson's chasing down this P4, missing its shots though. And doesn't want to risk losing his Jackson there, decides to disengage instead. Also doesn't want to run into a maybe surprise Rakedenwerfer and risk losing one of his Jacksons that way. Okay, so 152 is back for repairs. As I was saying, this Tiger is more than a match for the 152 in a head-to-head battle. And more than a match for the Su-85. It does look like it two hits it, in fact. Katyusha Barrage. Looks like he gets a few kills there. Needs to keep this 152 moving forwards. I mean, Tiger moving forwards. There's a lot of heavily damaged allied tanks right now. Looks like the Shrek Squad's in fact going to get the kill here on the Su-85 instead. Struggy in the centre, applying pressure to the allied infantry. Now the Axis have got a triple cap running. And the allies are really running out of steam here. Down goes the Su-85 to that Shrek Squad. That was a very long chase. Perhaps a slight mismicro of the 152. Now the 152's under Tiger fire. Is a very low health Zis here, but quickly gets cleared by the Fusiliers. 152 just getting blasted by this Tiger. That's extremely low now. P4 has nearly completed repairs as well, and I imagine once that returns to the front lines, allies are going to have to call GG. Do have one P47 up their sleeve. So maybe if the Allies Axis overextend, they could punish them with that P-47, and that could be the catalyst to get the Allies back in this game. But I think that is rather unlikely.
The enemy has destroyed a panzer.
Looks like the captain's trying to come in here for a flank, maybe going for the command bunker. Here comes the P-47s. This is a very deep P-47 strike. This could be very damaging. No, all those rockets just hit the ground. Wow, this Tiger's found a sweet little spot there. All of the P-47 rockets here hitting the tree line in this ridge. Looks like the Axis tanks are finally reacting. It's starting to backpedal out of the AoE. Oh, that was a good few shells. Jackson's here, mobilizing for a push. Looks like he's going to come straight down the center. That's probably not the best idea. Maybe coming down this flank would be a better choice. A lot of damage. Oh, about a third health off that Yak Tiger now. No, Jackson's coming down the center is a good idea. Managed to knock out the Stroke E. Is that Mark? No, it's not Mark. I haven't seen Mark vehicle once from Agent Smith as far as I can recall. Perhaps something he should work on. Especially coordinating that with his teammates. So that was the last hurrah for the Allies, I believe. Did manage to neutralise the center victory point and regather control of the left-hand side one, but did not manage to apply any pressure. The Axis still on 10 victory points. No! Play down here on the right-hand side from these paratroopers. This gun is desperately trying to get into the capping circle, try and prevent the cap. Here comes P4, try and shut down these paratroopers. They're going to clear this, but will that be in time? Here comes the two tanks. Oh, they run into some S-mines there. Looks like he's going to try to run over them. Oh, and the S-mines finished the job. Tiger's over here now as well. Needs to get his grenadiers in there. Oh, what's going on? They're getting pushed around by the Sturge E. Luckily, this man, Renegade Lone Ranger, stayed in the capping circle, and Axis down to only 4 victory points now. That is crazy close. Oh man, that is just crazily close to a loss there. Axis really need to keep just one man over here really at all times. Try and stop that paratrooper harassment from zeroEJ. That was a nice tactic from Zero, and it almost paid off. Allies do need to regather these munitions. I can't stress that enough if they want to keep bringing in the P-47s and keep the pressure on the Axis. Seems to be their best avenue for victory. Avenue for victory? Does that even make sense? I don't know. Well, I see. So a nice barrage there, knocks out a Fusilier squad from that Katyusha. Katyusha barrage doing some good work. Oh! Nasty Stuka barrage clears one's this, just a lot of damage to the other. Oh, look at that 152. Maybe outgunned by the Yag Tiger, but it's still in the game. Still extremely powerful against infantry. Here come the Jacksons for a flank. Axis armor quickly turns in about's face. Let's see. Oh, what happened there? Maybe he threw the AT grenade before they were damaged. That's why they weren't immobilized. Predictive nade there onto the heavy cover. Nicely dodged there by zeroEJ, but Fusiliers vet 4 with G43 upgrade are going to be too much for the paratroopers to deal with no weapon upgrade of their own. So a triple cap running once more for the Axis, and the Allies are down to only 120 VPs. They're really feeling the pressure now for the first time in the game. They are getting quite low themselves. In comes another paradrop, but there is an MG bunker here, and it's going to suppress those squads. That squad before they even fall on the ground. Now getting crushed and murked by this P4, and that paratrooper harassment is going to be unsuccessful. In fact, I think he's forgotten about this squad. Too busy working with his Jacksons in the centre. Stuggy's taking a lot of fire. Jagdtiger. Whoa! Down goes that Jackson straight away. Pack and Jagdtiger. These things are very, very fragile. You have to be extremely careful. That paratrooper squad somehow did manage to neutralise that victory point. I thought they were pinned. I don't know what happened over there. Some weird things. Either way, there's nothing really to go and follow up on that, and there are a lot of S-mines preventing any lone man to run down here. Definitely would need a sweeper squad to try and put some harassment on this. So the Axis armor is in pretty good shape at the moment. Pretty much all of them on more than 3/4 health. Should be well equipped to deal with whatever the Allies throw at them. But zeroEJ is actually flooding a lot of fuel right now. And this is just a death trap running straight down the center. Oh no! Jackson caught our position here. Is it going to go down to the Jagdtiger? Yep, down it goes. Got caught turning there, and down it goes to the Jagdtiger. That thing has extremely long range. And extremely powerful as well. And I think that's the last hope for the Allies going up in smoke there with those two Jacksons going down. Don't really have any way to deal with all of this Axis armor. Can't go with AT guns because the Stuka will clear them. And yeah, looks like they're going to make one more play down the right hand flank, maybe? Yes, does indeed. Down to 35 VPs themselves. Oh, running over maybe even 2 mines there. Almost knocks out that whole squad. 152 is rotated, so is the Katyusha. Axis armor is also rotating to try and shut this down. There are a lot of S-mines here as well. Those squads are not going to get through there. Oh, close range Stuka barrage. Katyusha barrage. What's that retreat? Sugi here is just trying to buy some time. Allies very low on victory points themselves. No, he's instead going deep, trying to find a line on the Katyusha. And is managing to force the 152 to about face. This could be opening up to some flanks, but Axis are instead playing it safe, just trying to hold on to their 2 VPs. Now rotating the Tiger up this avenue. They know that they've run over all the mines here, so it should be clear for approach. Tiger finds the Katyusha. Down that goes. 1 shell. Tiger activates Blitzkrieg, coming in on the rear of the 152. 152's going deep, trying to clear the S-mines, trying to clear a path for the Allied troops to come through. Here come P-47s opening up on the P4. And quite a lot of friendly fire on that conscript squad though. 152's going to go down. Down go the conscripts as well. P-47 switch targets to the Tiger now. And all these troops over here largely doing nothing for the Allies, and If only they had some Jacksons here to come and follow up, they might have actually been able to do some damage over here on this flank, but fortunately those Jacksons went down to the Yag Tiger, and that's all there is to it. Very, very close game. Extremely strong early game for the Allies, but the Axis stayed cool. Allies over-invested in team weapons, and the Stuka hard countered those, and that was the mechanism for the Axis managed to get back in the game. And GG, that was a really good game, really close one. Well played by both teams. If you'd like your game to be cast by me, details in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.